Hello, welcome back to Real Opinions. Today's review is of Laika's latest stop-motion animated movie, Kubo and the Two Strings, which also just so happens to be probably one of the best movies of the year. The film follows the young boy Kubo living in ancient Japan with his kind of brain-damaged mother, and at some point in the story he's forced to go on this cross-country quest to find an unbreakable suit of armour in order to stop himself from being chased down by his own grandfather and aunts. It's a very full-on action-orientated adventure film that I know a lot of kids will enjoy, but also a whole load of adults will as well. This is a proper cross-generational movie in the vein of something like Pixar, like older Disney movies. And to be fair, I haven't had this much fun with an animated film all year, and I think a lot of that is down to the stop-motion animated style. It's just so incredibly gorgeous to look at. Laika are the studios that made Coraline, they made Paranorman, they made the Box Trolls. Their style has been so honed over the last 7 years since Coraline came out. It's got to the point now where you can't even see any sense of time delay in the stop motion animation. It feels as smooth as something that would be rendered on computers. And as beautifully designed, if not more so, because there's a real texture to what you're looking at. It feels like you're really watching physical things. And yet the character designs, the world designs remain just as insane as something that you would expect to be kind of drawn or painted. You have these kind of massive rolling seascapes, these incredible mountains, these ridiculously extravagant fight sequences, and you can't help but sit there and think, how the hell did someone make that? Like, the amount of time and effort and hours that would have gone into not only designing something like this, but actually sitting down and animating it. And the fact that not only is this incredible to watch from a visual standpoint, but on a story level, it's also pretty incredible too. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. It's the standard quest plot, the sort that you've seen in like legends and myths and fairy stories and stuff before. But here there is a slight oriental twist to it, which does help an awful lot. And the characters themselves are that bit slightly more different, that it really does kind of stand out quite a lot. And it really does help kind of pull you into this world very, very wholeheartedly. It's got kind of a whole load of talent. Art Parkinson, who plays Rickon Stark, is Kubo. And he's fairly great, actually. So's Matthew McConaughey as this kind of amnesiac warrior beetle. He's a lot of fun. Rooney Mara's kind of a bit one note. I mean, she kind of needs to be. She plays these kind of two meddling, scary, like V for Vendetta meets The Shining style twins that chase Kubo down. She's ominous enough. I mean, pretty one note, but ominous enough. My main problem here is with Charlize Theron. I mean, it feels kind of harsh to call that a problem because she's relatively good. She's serviceable in this film. It just, at times, it feels like it's relatively phoned in. Basically, Kubo goes on this quest with the amnesiac beetle, which I just talked about, Matthew McConaughey, who's kind of the comic relief, and then Charlize Theron plays a talking snow monkey who kind of takes on this motherly role for him. Considering she's kind of the emotional heart of Kubo's kind of parentage, really, she feels a little bit phoned in and a little bit fake at times, not entirely as emotional as she should be. Ultimately, that's not a major problem with the film. The film still really, really works and it's great. It's just that one tiny little notch that takes it off of being almost completely perfect. I think the only other problem I'd kind of pick with the film is that some of the reveals towards the end can feel a little bit too sappy and a little bit too pandering for family audiences. That's not a major problem. The overall tone of the film is very well maintained, and the message of the whole thing is really, really sweet, and I think it does resonate across all audiences. I just think one or two of those last reveals are a little too kind of like simplistic and a little too obvious. But on the whole, Kubo and the Two Strings is a total honest triumph. It is gorgeous to look at, incredibly engrossing in its action sequences. It's pretty funny in places as well, and it feels wholly original. I can't think of a project or a release or anything even remotely similar to this, really, even though it kind of takes on the whole samurai, Japanesey, oriental fairy tale thing that has been done before. It puts its own spin on it, and I honestly wanted to watch it all over again the second it ended. So Kubo and the Two Strings gets 9 out of 10. It is probably one of the best films of the year. I think it's better than Zootropolis. To me, Laika are the studio to beat out there, and they just keep knocking it out of the park. The Box Trolls wasn't their best, but Kubo is a massive return to form, and they're just really, really going places. So, thank you for watching, and look out for more real opinions based reviews in the future. Goodbye.